Good afternoon, everybody. All right, I'm going to be talking about judgment today and how it can be beneficial. In the last week since I've started the videos, I've gotten more judgment about my speaking, how I can't say words, how my hair is messy. What else? I'm trying to think of everything. So I think this is a good time for me to talk about judgment. And I've been seeing a lot of reels on Instagram about judgment. And some people are saying we've got to stop judging. But I kind of look at it differently. And that's what I want to go through today. And I'm going to just get going on it. So it's like, why are people sensitive to judgment? And people tend to be sensitive to judgment because it touches several deep human needs and it's like, well, why are you saying that about me? And it's uncomfortable sometimes. So, but the act of judgment itself isn't inherently bad because what it does is it's part of human to navigate life. We have to judge, right? So, like discernment and decision making, judgment helps. It's helped me tremendously in the last week. I mean, I've really gone over like, okay, my hair is messy. Yes, I can't say some words because I have a list. I mean, I've had it like forever. But then when I had my brain tumor, where the tumor, the cyst was at, it was on my language. So I can look at a word and I can't say it. It just, I don't know. I can say it in my mind, but then when I try to speak it, it doesn't come out properly. So, I mean, I have a lot of people always say, oh, no, that's not how you say it. And I go, okay, wait, tell me how to say it. And they go, oh, you want to know? And I said, yes, correct me because I want to hear it. So judgment helps to evaluate situations, people, and opportunities so that we can make a safer and wiser decision. That's how I look at it. And without it, we'd lack the ability to access our potential, right? I mean, or it can be a risk too, because I don't know, maybe, somebody will say something and it's not correct. I mean, it's flat out wrong. So, but it does help you align it with some of your values. I have a friend she loves to correct me and I don't want to say really judge, but she judges me. And one time she's like, no, you don't want to do that because you're poking the bear. And I said, oh my God, you're so right. So, I can look at that like I could have said, you know what, it's none of your business. But no, I listened and I said, okay, yeah, you're right. And essentially she was judging me, which was fine. So I take it on as, you know what, if it's going to help me, then I will listen. And then feedback and growth. It gives you feedback and growth. Constructive judgment, criticism rooted in truth and care can reveal blind spots that maybe we won't see on our own. I actually should show you the emails that have come in that my friends have said about my videos. And I think it would be kind of a good experience for everybody. And the response that I wrote back, I think I may do that like on Instagram. But it also pushes us towards self-awareness and empowerment. And then the moral compass of of collaboration, our judgments of right and wrong, fair and unfair, shape our moral framework. So that's a good thing as well. They help us to stand for causes and protect others. That's why we go out with the signs and we fight for what we think is right. That's a part of judgment as well. And I think the boundary of protection, judgment allows us to decide who and what we let into our personal space. Without it, we might tolerate harmful or energy draining situations. And I've been in that before, where I had to put my foot down and say, okay, enough is enough. But the other side is this too, which I do understand what people are saying on Instagram, because there is a need of acceptance and belonging, and humans are social creatures. Our self-worth is often tied to how others perceive us, and we want to fit in sometimes. People want to fit in, they want to belong. And judgment can feel like a threat to our social standing, maybe even our relationship or our entity, our identity. So even subtle disapproval can bring up fears and activate those fears in us outside of our circle. It's happened to me before. Sometimes we even fear judgment because part of it might be true. And I've noticed that people that get emotional about being judged is, they've even come out, well, it's kind of a little bit true, and that's why I got upset about it. But then reflect on it and see it like that and say, you know what, I'm glad I saw that. Like my hair being messy. Two girlfriends said, your hair's really messy. You need to, fix it a little bit when you're on camera. And I said, okay, I will. But if there's like an insecurity or self-doubt, that external criticism can hit a little bit harder. And it feels like maybe it might be proof, or worse, self-beliefs. So you have to look at that. But then there is that loss of what I call the loss of control, and being judged places the power in someone else's hands. In some ways, it does. That's how I look at it. And this can trigger feelings of vulnerability and unfairness, especially if the judgment is inaccurate or based on assumptions. And that's another situation you have to look at. And most of the time, I don't want to say most of the time, let's say 60% of the time, it's based on assumptions and it's just not correct. So the overall, when we haven't built the inner foundation, our emotional state ends up being sourced to our moods, our biases of other people. And it means that we're never truly living from our own center. It always goes back to self-mastery. But when we do the work and define who we are, not based on trends and not approval from somebody else, because you don't need approval from somebody else, we create the inner strength. And my takeaway is this: healthy judgment is rooted in clarity and truth, not fear and ego. When you know who you are, the world's judgments lose their power. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.